Hi everyone. So today I decided I'm just going to record myself while walking on the beach. I've managed to walk to the end of this walkway, which is this amazing lighthouse. And you can listen to these little seagulls chirping away. So you don't need to look at me, just look at this, and then you can talk about the concept of karma and dharma. But let's take a second to listen. Look at that beautiful bird sitting over there. And the water is usually all the way over there, so murky. So this is where the island, I'm in Key Biscayne, and the island sort of curves. So from this point on, you can't really see the buildings, but you kind of can way far up there. But it just seems like I'm on a deserted island by myself. Because the parks are closed and it's a weekday, there's no one here. And check out the clarity of the water. Oh, amazing. Shukar Mola, look at this. Incredible. So it's not very clear further down. This is the tail end of it, and this is where the water is clear. Because of the hurricane, the sand's really been, shook up, and so the water is very murky. Yesterday there was actually a shark sighting, and we were seeing dead, half-eaten fishes. Sorry, birdies. We were seeing half-eaten fishes floating on the edge of the water, and then fishes were just going crazy yesterday. It wasn't this graceful jumping for joy, right? It was this I'm running for my life kind of a jump. I mean, fishes were literally flipping out of the water, going back in. Not today. Today it's peaceful. So I don't know what, I'm guessing the shark had something to do with it. Anyways, I wanted to talk about karma and dharma. And originally I figured I'd talk about karma and then talk about life purpose, but in thinking about it, it kind of makes sense to do both of those together. So what is karma? Let me sit down for a second. So what is karma? So karma is the concept of what goes around comes around. It's a Hindu concept, but every major faith has that. And so it's the idea that whatever you sow is what you reap, right? I have company. Hi guys. Look at these birds, they're so funny. Yes, I don't have any food. Anyways, so the idea is that what goes around comes around. What we do is what we get back. And every major faith has that. Doesn't matter what faith you're in. I know the Bible has it, the Quran has it. It's called different things, but the idea is the same. And so when it comes to any of the universal sort of tenets of spirituality, all the religions, all the major faiths have the same sort of universal principles, right? They're just called different things depending on the language and the culture of the faith. So in terms of intention, intention is intention, and then in Islam it might be called niyat, and so forth. They're so cute, look at them. They're just staring at me like, what are you doing sitting here? Anyways, so the concept of karma is kind of cool because it's up to us. This is where our free will and free choice determines what we get. So, it's almost like when you're gardening and, you want to get apples and oranges, and so you plant apple seeds and orange seeds, and you plant those, and guess what? You get apples and oranges. And then, but it's like saying, I actually plant chili peppers, but then I expect apples and oranges, and I'm disappointed then that why didn't I get apples and oranges when I wanted apples and oranges? But hello, you planted chili peppers, so you got chili peppers back. And that's kind of how life is. You get what you put in. So, and what controls that, right? So again, it goes back to your intention. Your intention in doing anything in life controls, what you get back. So if you are doing something, for example, some people do stuff, to help other people, or they donate money and they go, at charity, I want to go to heaven. That's why I'm going to donate all this money. Well, that intention is foul, believe it or not, because that's a selfish reason to do something. If you're donating money because you just, want to be a good human being and you genuinely want to help others, that intention is great. So your intention in any situation, every thought you have, every action you're doing, stop and think about, why am I really doing this? And the more you do this, the easier it gets. And it's a beautiful way to live in the world, when you're awake and walking through life, living with being clear of what your intentions are. It's a lot of work. I'll tell you, it's a lot of work. This living, being awake business is a lot of work. It kind of sucks on certain days, I have to tell you, because it can get lonely and it can get hard. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade that for anything else, because why go back to sleepwalking through life? Because eventually our goal, our purpose is to be awake and is to find our way back to the way we were, back to the Creator. And so the law of karma is, whatever you do is what you're going to get. So how does Dharma fit into this? So Dharma is, so these are again Hindu concepts, right? Karma, Dharma. So, and for me, Dharma equates my life purpose. What is my life purpose? So in Hinduism, it's a really cool concept, because there's different caste systems, there's different classes, and whatever you're born into is going to, oh, I have an audience, look at that. I have an audience, a captive audience, and they're all listening. That is so funny. God bless them. All right, so let's watch these birds and talk to the birds, and let's see, I'm going to turn my body around to face them. So in Dharma, in Hinduism, there's different caste systems. You've got the Brahmins, who are the priests and the religious holy men. Then you've got the Kshatriyas, which are the warriors. And then you've got one more, the Vaishyas, which are, I think they're called Vaishyas. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I can't seem to remember. But they're the working class. And then you've got the Shudras, which is the untouchables. They're the lowest form considered in that society. They're the ones that are the janitors, and they do all the dirty work. And in India has come a long way since the time of Mahatma Gandhi, where the untouchables is what he called them, the Harijans. God, Harijans. Hari is God. Jans means people of God. So Mahatma Gandhi called them Harijans versus the ugly name that they were called before. And it's a lot different now than it used to be many years ago. But so the caste that you're born into determines what you end up doing for a living, what you end up doing for life. So if you are born as a Brahmin, then that's what you do. You live the different stages of the Brahmin life. You study the Vedas, and you grow up and you get married, and you have kids, and you do that part of life. And at some point, as a Brahmin, you're expected to renounce all that and go and study the Vedas again and sort of live a life of celibacy and service. And then the Kshatriyas were the warriors, and the working class. If you were born in, if your family is, they're woodworkers, then that's what you do. That's kind of, you do the best you can with whatever you're given. Look, I have company. Just cleaning the beach. Anyways, and so, but since most of us are not Hindus, or not born into that, and even if you are, it's a different world now. How do you determine your life purpose? Well, I think the way to go about doing it is that to sit and figure out, take an inventory of what your talents are, what your gifts are. Each and every one of us has gifts, has certain strengths that are given to us, that we're born with, that innately we've developed over time, that God has given us. I don't care who you are, I don't care how old you are. It's never, ever too late to live your life's purpose. It's never, when it's too late? When you're dead. then it's too late, at least in this lifetime. You'll come back and do it again, but then it's too late. But as long as you're alive, it's never too late. So sit and figure out what are your strengths, and then how do you use those gifts, use those strengths to then serve humanity, serve God, serve God's earth. You know, life purposes overall tend to be pretty the same, but how it shows up in life changes depending on the course of life. So I know that my life purpose is to be a healer, and is to help and serve and give people back to themselves as best as I can in whatever way I can. And I'm aware of that. I've been aware of that since my early 20s. I've been blessed. I had no idea how that was going to show up and how that was going to work out. But being the weirdo that I am, I usually don't attach myself to, you know, how exactly things are going to work out. I kind of surrender to the process and trust that it's going to be okay. And so, of course, in my 20s, it was about being married and having kids and being a mother. And my life purpose, my biggest life purpose is raising my 2 boys. I've known for a long time now that no matter what else I achieve and accomplish in my life, if I mess that up, if I mess up the job of raising my kids, I don't care what else I achieve in my life, I will have royally failed. Now that's for me, okay? That's my life purpose. But that doesn't mean that's all it is. That's been the most important thing. And now that my kids are older, you know, one's in college, the other one's in high school, and, you know, just a few more years before he's off, you know, flying the nest, I will then have even more freedom to pursue the rest of my life purpose, which is what I'm already doing, you know, doing the artwork, doing the therapy, doing the videos now, you know, just whenever I meet people, it's just, you know, an opportunity to present themselves back to themselves as best as I can. And if, you know, they don't want it, that's fine. Wish them peace and joy and walk away. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm okay with that. So how do you figure that out? Figure out what your life purpose is, figure out what your strengths are, and go about the business of living it, you know, in however small way you can. So that's karma, and karma continues. That was dharma, but karma continues through lifetimes. You know, sometimes with the age that we're living in, it's instant karma. You know, people say, oh, karma's a bitch, you know, and blah, 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 but it's easier said than done, and it's easier when it's happening to someone else. You know, I really, truly try to, these days especially, I catch myself, you know, when someone cuts me off in traffic, I'm so tempted to call them a name and curse at them, or you know, or do something, or honk my horn, and instead, I literally just catch myself and wish them peace and joy and ask for forgiveness in the moment and smile and sort of go on my way, because it's just not worth it, you know, because being aware that every thought, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Well, I don't know about opposite, that's a theory of some sort, right? Einstein, I think. But, you know, I don't want that. I'm not a science genius, as you can tell. That's why I'm a social worker, and that's why I paint. So forgive me for making mistakes. But the idea is that I just want to live my life from a place where I'm incurring as little karma in this lifetime, and God knows I do it anyways, right? But as little karma as possible, and to work through any karma I've got from my past life. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to sign off now and go back to walking back home. And I wish you well, wish you peace, wish you joy. Keep the questions coming, and until next time.